Hey project managers, welcome to our channel. If you're interested in budgeting to ensure your profits grow, this video is just for you. We'll introduce you to one of the best tools for monitoring the financial health of your projects so that you can avoid the risks and maximize your profits. Let's get started. If you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss on any of our latest content. You can also drop us a comment if you have questions or reach out to us for a free consultation. We can advise you on tailoring the best solution in the area of project and portfolio management. Budgeting is important and there's no need to explain why. We all know that. While you can manage your budgets purely using Jira's core features, it does require lots of effort and manual work. Tempo Financial Manager is one of the tools that can help you avoid these mundane tasks. It's a comprehensive financial management tool designed to help you track, manage, and report on your financial data. Before we take a closer look at some of its key features, it's worth mentioning that it is a part of Tempo suite. But what does this mean? Well, the most important thing is it does not work on its own. It requires Tempo Timesheets, another popular tool within the Atlassian ecosystem. Tempo Timesheets, together with Tempo Financial Manager and other tools such as Structure Gantt, which are PPM tools, all integrate, and there are some unique features that you won't be able to use if you're not using the apps from that suite. However, if you're using other tools for project and portfolio management, Tempo Timesheets and Tempo Financial Manager will also complement this tool and work great together. If you want to learn more about other Tempo apps or other PPM tools, make sure to check out other videos on our channel. One last thing worth mentioning is that Tempo Financial Manager is only available for Jira Cloud. So what is Financial Manager? In general, it addresses one of the most common use cases. It helps project managers monitor the financial health of their projects to ensure profitability. This means that at any moment you can assess the financial health of your project, assuming, of course, that your teams log work on regular basis, as the time spent or logged work is used to calculate the labor costs and the revenue in case of billable work. There are also other costs and expenditures that the app helps you track, which we will discuss later. So let's have a look at the Financial Manager and how it can help me in getting answers about my project's financial health. To access Tempo Financial Manager, click on the Apps drop-down and select Tempo. Now you will have all the Tempo apps on the left-hand side in the side panel. As I mentioned earlier, you will need the Tempo Timesheets to leverage all the logged hours and convert them to costs and revenue, depending on what work you were doing. To access the Financial Manager, there is the Financial Manager icon. Once opened, on the main screen, you will see the list of projects that you created in Tempo. I won't be going into all the details, but creating a project is pretty simple. All you need to do is to enter the project's name, define the scope just as you would do in other types of apps or on your Scrum board. Next, you need to select the project type, whether it is a monetary or time-based, and the used currency. Now, I've already created some of these projects and what I can already see is their status. So there is a warning in case I have exceeded the budget. That's why also I have this project on hold. I've actually exceeded my budget, and here we're only looking at the labor costs. There is also this progress bar indicating what percentage of the budget I've already spent. I also have the difference between the two, as well as the tags for the projects that I'm working on and information about the project owner. Let's have a look at the next tab right here, the portfolio. So I can actually group my projects into portfolios and see the total cost and the total budget of all these projects combined. When I click on my portfolio, I will have another dashboard with some important information about the owners, the number of the projects, the description, the total budget, total cost, total revenue, and an indication of the number of tasks, all the completed tasks versus the total. There's also the team section here telling me what is the average rate or the cost for my team, the total effort, total labor costs, and a button that allows me to add and remove projects. There is also that timeline so that you can see when your projects start and are planned to finish. It isn't really customizable, but there are other tools for that purpose. There's also the configuration page where you can update the details of your project and decide whether you want to share it with others. Now, financial data is sensitive, so you don't really want everyone to access it, and Tempo allows you to control the access to this app using a permission scheme separate from Jira, from the Jira's permission scheme. If you want to navigate through the different views, there is the navigation breadcrumb right in the top left corner. You can also generate reports, so there are a couple of reports available. What you need to do is to add the portfolio or the projects to it. There are 4 types of reports available: the actual cost, actual revenue, planned cost, and planned revenue. So the information that is accessible in other views of the app can be also presented in form of a report or a chart. Let's say I want to see the actual cost of my project. I can select the time frame. I do not need to focus on a specific type of work as an example, or maybe on a specific team member. I will leave that filter empty, and I want to break it down by months instead of weeks. So I can see that in that time period I had one business analyst working on that project, and I have the total effort, the total labor costs, and the total expenses. Alright, now let's have a look at the actual project. And I do have one project in progress, and let's start with the overview tab. There are actually a couple of tabs here that we will go through. This screen consists of 2 sections. You have the actual chart or the graph and the project details in the side panel, which you can expand or hide. On this screen you can see the current KPIs as well as the projected KPIs to help you monitor the progress of the project. The data used here is either the logged work, all the planned effort, as well as the costs or expenses and their projection. On the left hand side you will see the logged work of the time tracking, any work you log on tasks, and on the right hand side you will have the estimated effort or the original estimate of the time tracking. This part also includes the prediction of expenses, so it's not only the prediction of the labor costs but also includes the expenses. You'll see the revenue indication as well as the project budget milestones to help you meet the financial goals of your project. When we hover over any date on the timeline, you'll see the details in the pop-up for that particular moment in time. On the right hand side, you will see the profit margin, the progress based on the schedule, taking into account the number of work days completed versus the total, as well as the actual expenditures versus the total budget. And it also looks at the CAPEX and OPEX, or the capital and operational costs, so you can classify your costs so that your accounting teams know which expenses are tax deductible. You can also have a view based on the time tracking instead of the total costs. You can use the number of hours in case some external system do all the calculations, but I think it's nice to have this information also available within Jira. The next section here is the scope. So here you will see all the list of work items. For each of these items you will see some details about the cost, the time spent, the revenue, whether they are billable or not, and if they can be charged to your clients and generate some revenue or not, as well as the remaining cost, the remaining time, and remaining revenue in case of billable items. So let's see if I have any such items. They should be at the very top here. I do have some billable items. Now I can also group these items. You can create folders to group the items and have an overview of the whole group, which I can then collapse or expand. The next section is the teams that team members will show automatically for you. What does this mean? It means that whenever a person logs work, they will appear in this section right here. So you don't need to create your teams. Again, it is a similar view to the scope, but focuses on the actual team member and how much work has been done by each of these team members, or how much time have they spent on different tasks and how much revenue they generated. When it comes to the expenses, you have another section here where you can categorize your expenses. You can create defined categories. You can create categories as you like. Accounts can be added to different categories, and you'll have a simple report that breaks down the cost into all these categories. I created a couple of them. OPEX and CAPEX, and the expenses can be viewed here. Expenses are not your Jira issues. Here I can also export, just like in several other views. I can export this information. The last section here allows you to set the milestones, manage the project details, and select roles for your teams. You can set a different rate, or you can use global rates to simplify things and set costs and billing rates for your billable hours. The app will then calculate and predict the revenue. So this is just one way of managing your project budgets within Jira. The Financial Manager is a great app. It has its limitations, its pros and cons, especially that it does require Tempo Timesheets. So if you want to find out what would be the best tools for you and your company, reach out to us and schedule a free consultation. We'll help you not only find the best tools, but also advise on how you can optimize your processes, as well as share a range of best practices so that you will feel comfortable working in the new environment for years to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.